Alright, so what if the life you have been fighting to build is not the life that will bring you peace? Correct. Up until 25, life felt like a constant push. I spent years trying to become someone better, more impressive, more lovable. But somewhere between 25 and now, almost hitting 26, I stopped striving and something shifted. Strangely, that's when everything started to make sense. When I broke that conditioning, things like desires, wants, and life in general started to feel different. I was seeing the same things, but just from a different lens now, a whole different angle, from a different window. And interestingly, this shift was not a struggle. It actually led me to new ways of thinking and acting, something that fit with who I was gradually becoming with time. And these five lessons did not come from, a book. They came from unlearning, breaking down again and again, and letting go. And I think they might resonate with everyone because really it's not just about the age 26, but about navigating those big perspective shifts that can honestly pop up anytime at any age. It's just that for me, this age seems to be the catalyst. So, lesson number one. And this one especially changed how I love people. It's being okay with loving someone from a distance. You can care for someone and still stay at arm's length, still maintain that gap if needed. Over time, I have realized that not everyone is meant to walk beside me. Some are meant to be understood from afar, and that is okay. What it means is that which is conscious within me recognizes the conscious within them, even if on the day to day level our human selves clash. Our personalities just don't quite match, and the interactions are just difficult because I want to be my way and they want to be their way, and it's difficult to just coexist at this point. We just start to accept things and people for who they are and ourselves for who we are. Maybe I'm not good for them sometimes, and maybe they are not good for me sometimes. That can happen. And if that's the reality, if it's that difficult to maintain a relationship, well, why keep being at war? Why keep trying to prove we can make it work? Where does that even take us? There's a major shift in priorities now. I have started loving my peace more than proving a point or forcing a connection that is not flowing naturally, that is not going anywhere. And that sets a stage for the next lesson, lesson number two, which changed how I love myself, how I see myself. Because with age, you do not love yourself more, you start to accept yourself more. It's not dismissing self love. The key shift is that of stopping the fight with yourself, with who you are, because that is who you are supposed to become. Slowly, I just stopped fighting with myself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, most importantly. Acceptance really ended this internal chaos for me. I stopped treating my insecurities like personal failures because they are not. They are not failures to begin with. And I made peace with perceived imperfections, with looking average, with being average, even sometimes. I have left the race completely, and why not? I was given my own lane to walk on, which was laid according to my life. I don't have to run anymore. I never had to. And that kind of peace, that kind of fundamental acceptance changes how you experience everything, how you experience life, even the hardest things, which naturally leads us to right into one of the hardest things like rejection. Lesson number three. This one softened rejection for me somehow, which was very important. It might sound a bit cliche, but rejection is redirection. It is. Think about that. What rejection have you been holding on to that might just have been redirection in disguise? It's so pragmatic. I mean, what other than redirecting can it even do? I realized every time I got rejected, I started spiraling, obviously. But I was also given something better than that, better than what I had, if not the best. It reframed rejection for me entirely. It's not about your worth. I talk about this in every video. It's not about worth, but it's about life itself because needed even that rejection gently or sometimes not so gently to understand its purpose. It's just life removing who does not belong, what does not belong, if even if it hurts in the moment. Let's not revolve around our worth every time. At some point, I grew enough to realize not being chosen does not mean I am not worthy and that the world has ended. It just means my story continues elsewhere. My story does not end with just one chapter. I learned this new ability to pivot. It realigned things for me. That's the main gift. But the emotions, the heartbreak, the self doubt, the spiraling, they are just the extras that came with the package because they are not the main point. You don't have to resist them, obviously, you have to feel them, but you don't have to stick to the rejection for more than required. It served its purpose, signaling the need for redirection and realignment, rebuilding. And once I stopped spiraling over rejection, with time I noticed how often I was still living in moments that were long gone, living in the past. And that's the lesson number 4. The past needs to stay in the past. It is in the past for a reason. It does not necessarily need closure, which, let's be honest, can feel impossible sometimes. What it really needs is distance and time, space to breathe. What good can come from living in the past when it's only present where there's a possibility to do something, physically do something? In the past, you can only live and nothing else. You can't change it, you can't tweak it, you can't improve it unless someone invents a time machine. It's hollow, just a memory. And yet, how often do we treat that memory like it's our whole world? That's the only place to exist. Constantly replaying it. You are supposed to live here on earth right now and not in some memory that's nowhere to be found other than in your head. It's not it's not a real world. So I finally stopped living in the past because clinging to it brought me nothing but worries, anxiety, and unease all the time. And letting go brought me sheer peace, even if it took me some time to reach there, obviously. And that connects perfectly to the fifth and final lesson. This one confronts that anxiety directly, which is worry. Worry won't take you anywhere. Worry is just fear pretending to be useful. That cuts deep. It often feels useful like we are preparing, but it's not that. It's okay to worry. We are human. But it draws a clear line when worry gets so big to the point it robs you of every hope that you had left in you. Most of the things I worried about either never happened or did not deserve that much space in my mind. I over exaggerated it in my head, all that wasted energy. And at some point, I realized worrying does not prevent the worst from happening, which is often why we think we are doing it. The illusion of control. It just prevents us from preparing for it because it clouds our thinking. It wasn't making me more prepared at all, just more exhausted. It will steal clarity, peace, and joy from moments that are actually okay. It steals the good stuff from right now. So, if we take a step back and look at these 5 lessons together: loving from a distance, acceptance of self, seeing rejection as redirection, leaving past behind, and stop worrying. They really do paint that picture, don't they? That initial shift in perspective that I started with, they feel like different facets of the same core changes, which is all about letting go. Letting go of resistance, the need to control everything, and instead accepting what is inside and outside yourself, and through that, finding peace and true direction and prioritizing your inner state. And these lessons don't feel strictly tied to an age to me, not 25 or 26. They could resonate with anyone going through a transition or just feeling stuck in life. That's everyone's internal landscape that shifts from time to time. So think of it. What happens if you start to proactively practice acceptance and not just waiting for big shifts, but in the small ways, small everyday moments? How might that change your daily experiences? Your challenges and experiences might actually be hiding unexpected gifts, little realignments. And think what happens if you try to look beyond the immediate discomfort. What if peace is not something you find, but something you allow? That's something to ponder.